Hi, goeiedag, ek is Susan Erasmus. Ek is die wynmaker by Vrede Lust. Vrede Lust sit in die hartjie van die Boland, baie naby aan Franshoek, en is lekker dat julle hier saam kuier. At Vrede Lust, we've got quite a wide variety of grape varietals that we plant. On the right-hand side, we do Sauvignon Blanc, which is one of my favorite varieties to work with. We also do Semillon, Viognier, Chenin Blanc, and Chardonnay. The white varietals that we have got planted here is our Chardonnay as well as our Viognier, as they can take a bit more heat, and as you can see, we are standing out here on the heat of the day, and it's really beautiful out here in the vineyards. What is a good wine to me as a winemaker? Well, you find that a lot of people come here, especially when we've got tourists coming to the wine tasting area, and they say, I'm not a big wine connoisseur, I don't know a lot about wine. And my answer to them will be, even if you're not a wine connoisseur and you don't know a lot about wine, as long as you enjoy the wine that you're drinking, that makes it a good wine. Definitely one of the things that I do love the most about being a winemaker is that a day in the life of the winemaker is something which is different every day. Winemakers' years go through different seasons. You know, when we're busy with harvest season, you really focus on what's happening in the cellar. During this time, when it's the beginning phase of growing season, you spend a lot of time out in the vineyards as well. How I became a winemaker? Well, if you can stand in the middle of a hot day and have a sip of wine, I can't think of any reason why I should not have become a winemaker. I actually grew up in a family home where it's a very wine-loving family. Since I was a little girl, I remember my dad saying, you know, if he opens up a wine, he's not just drinking a red wine, but he's drinking a 1976 Chateau this and this and this. And so I grew up with a big knowledge of wine, and I really had a wine appreciation. I think if you look at the South African wine industry and the wine industry in general, going back 15 to 20 years ago, it was definitely a male-dominated industry where you wouldn't find a woman running around in the cellar. In my personal opinion, I actually think that a cellar can actually be like a very big kitchen in a certain sense. I can't see why women can't be running around in the cellar. It definitely is a very physical job. You need to be able to really pull your weight in the cellar. You know, but I think there are so many female winemakers around in the world that have come up, and some people believe that women are better wine tasters than men. Interesting that they say once you've got a really acquainted nose for smelling and appreciating a lot of different aromas and flavors. People say to me, you know, why the wine industry? Why didn't you go for something like the perfume industry, where that's surely more towards the female orientation? I just think to myself, you know, if you can really appreciate the wine and you can really see how wonderful it is to work inside this beautiful cellar and the area that you have out looking at the mountains every day of your life. And you know, I think after a hard day of work, a lot of people throughout your whole working career, you will definitely have a couple of days at work where you go home and you think to yourself, what a bad day at work. And the wine industry, definitely, after a hard day of work, I can go home and I can still enjoy some of my hard work that I did the day. In the perfume industry, I'm not sure if the satisfaction of spraying a perfume bottle would have been the same. Winemaking to me is really, it's my passion, you know. Since the first day when I walked into a cellar and I saw everything happening inside the cellar, and I saw people working out in the vineyard so hard, there's so much work and so much passion from a lot of people that go to get the final product. If you look at some of the red wines that we make, they mature in barrel for up to 16 to 18 months. So from the time of harvest to the time that you're starting to take the wine out of barrel and getting them ready for bottling, it's a 2-year process. So by the time that you start drinking the wine, you've put 3 years of effort into producing this. I've been in the industry since 2003. A lot of people tell me, but you're very young. I just think I'm very passionate and very hardworking at what I do, and hard work really gets rewarded. If you had to ask me where I would be when I'm old and grey, I definitely think you might find me sneaking around behind a wine barrel. I'm Susan Erasmus from Vrede Lust. Ek is Susan Erasmus van Vrede Lust.